Hello, friends. Welcome. It's a Monday, so today is normally a Monday mix up, but for today, I didn't mix it up very much. I don't know if you're familiar with Catherine Pooler's Club Cersei, but that is the Catherine Pooler Studios monthly subscription. And I have been a member of that club for a long time and receiving that. And last week I received the Club Cersei for this month, and it just looked so fun. I had to give it a play. So today the only mix up is the Catherine Pooler Club Cersei, and then a paper pad from just a local company. So let's go ahead and switch our camera view and take a look at our project. Okay, so here's the card that we're going to work on, but this was one style, and by the time I got done playing, the one that we're actually going to make is a little bit different. But the main thing I wanted to look at today is how to line up layered stamps like this. So let me show you the collection. So this is the collection, and you'll see the leaves come with their outline, and then they also come with two different sides of the filler so that you can actually fill the leaf with different colors. On this one, I did both sides the same, and I kind of layered the color to give them a fall look. But on today's card, we're going to use the two different sides to make different colors. It also came with this really fun dotted frame, outline frame that we're going to use today. I did use it on my sample card, but it's a little hard to see, so we're going to use it in a different way on today's card. It came with this wonderful sentiment set, which is all kinds of pretty sentiments. We're going to use some of those. And then it comes with the coordinating die. The coordinating dies, and we are going to use those as well. And let's see if I have my paper pad. I'm not sure if I saved out the paper pad, but I did save out the piece that inspired the colors for my card that we're going to make today. I just thought these colors were just a very fun color palette to make a fall card. So that's I chose my colors based on this piece of paper, and I'll go ahead and show you real quickly the colors that I'm using. So let's see here. My darkest red is a Catherine Pooler color called Polished. Then I'm using Orange Peel, Do-Si-Do, Sauna, Shea Butter, Eucalyptus, Green Tea, and the brown color is S'mores. So this is my color palette for my card today. So it's quite a few colors, and to make the leaves, I'm going to mix and match the different colors. And for the outlines to my leaves, I'm going to do it in this dark brown color. So let me show you how I used all the pieces. All right, so the first thing we need to do is die cut our leaf dies. And as you can see, I didn't cut any of them apart. I left it all together as one piece. And when I die cut them, I did this twice. I die cut them and I saved the paper. And we are going to make ourselves a template using our frame that we have. Okay, move that out of the way. And to do this, you do need a stamping platform. So here is my pile of leaves, which right now they're just all white. But those are my leaves that we're going to go ahead and stamp. Get all my inks out of the way. Okay, so like I said, you're going to want to do this on a stamping platform. And your piece of paper that you die cut your pieces out, you just need one of them. We're going to go ahead. Let's see, which would be easier. I think this way will be easier. And I'm going to put this right in here. I am going to use my magnets, but I'm also going to tape this down. I'm going to use a little bit of minty tape, and that's just to make sure that it's all held in place, because you don't want this coming up. So I'm going to tape this down, and I have a piece of grid paper underneath that's also going to be needed. So if you don't have the grid paper, that's fine. Just a piece of scratch paper or leftover paper will be totally fine. this one right. Does it fit right there? No, I don't think it'll fit. Okay. So it's all magneted and taped down. That's the important thing. And we're going to start with the outline dies. Outline stamps. And I'm going to need to put my glasses on for this. And it's important that you get them lined up. If you set them down in there, if you move them back and forth, they'll hit the edges of your grid that you put in here. So you just want to kind of get that centered in there. And you're going to do all the pieces the same way. You're just going to take that outline die and center it as best to your ability inside that cutout frame. Now I am not going to do the little acorn because on today's card I won't be using that. All right, so now that we have this whoops, that one moved. Sorry if my head gets in. It's important that you kind of get over the top. So put that down. Oops. We'll lift those up. And now just to test, to make sure that we have it in the right place, I'm going to take a light color and I'm going to stamp this onto my grid mat underneath. And this is just to see if I have them in there centered well so that it'll look good on my leaves. Okay. All right, it looks like this one and this one needs to be moved a little bit. So these two I'm going to reposition because you can't see it very well because I did it in yellow. The next time I'll do it in this green tea and you'll be able to see it a little bit better. But Catherine Pooler stamps do have a white outline. So you want to get that centered in there as best you can. Otherwise, your outline's going to be way bigger on your leaf when it's said and done. So hopefully that is, and I keep hitting that one. Okay. All right, that seems pretty good. Hopefully that's better than the first time. Now I'm going to use a little bit darker color so that I can see if that change is better. Sometimes I get them all on the very first try, and sometimes it takes me a couple times. All right, do you see? Let me hold this up. Maybe you can see. On this green one, you see how this still has this big edge here, but it's way close over here. So this one, I think I can be happy with that, but I'm still not happy with this one right up here. So we're going to do it one more time, and hopefully I can get it perfect this time. We'll see. All right, there we go. I think that ought to fix it. And this time, for just this one, I'm going to go a little bit darker, but I'm pretty sure that I have it this time. You know what? I think I'm going to use this pink. Because once I get them all the way I want them, I'll show you what I'm going to do. Oh yeah, that's much better. So now that I have them the way that I want them, I'm going to do it with the some more color. And the reason I'm doing it in this dark brown color is because when I get ready to line up the inner pieces, it's way easier to see if you have it lined up when they're stamped on your base piece in a dark color. So that's going to just help me line them up. All right. Yeah, that's much, much better. Okay. Okay. All right, so now it's time to feed in our leaves, because we want to stamp this the outline onto each one. So I'm just going to feed my leaves into their little spots. And most of what we're doing today is this technique of lining up your layered stamps. So the card actually comes together really quick once we get there. So they're all placed down here in the grid. And now we're just going to ink up our stamps with some more color. Press that down in here. All right. I'm happy with that. I think that looks pretty good. Now, sometimes I do come in with my awl just to help me lift them up out of there. Sometimes I don't need it, but it's always nice to have if in case I do. There we go. Okay, now that we've got it that far, we're going to do it one more time. And that is the beauty of doing it this way, is you can do multiple, whether I just have it die cut out 2 times or whether I have it die cut out 10 times, they're all going to stamp the exact same way. That's why it's important to get it right the first time. Now on this particular one, I only have one. I don't know what I did with the other one, but I think my paper had a hole in it, and so I threw that one away because it didn't die cut the whole leaf, so we don't need that one. Our card will be fine with just one. All right, and there we go. We're all ready to switch out our stamps and go to the next layer. So a lot of times the next step you would just do one of, because you know there'll be one filler solid stamp to go inside one die. But in this particular set there's 2 for each leaf because each side of the leaf is a different color. Okay, those are all out. So we can go ahead and take these off. We're done with these. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with this leaf right over here. And I'm going to kind of line it up using that dark brown edge. And I can see when my piece is on that edge. It's a little hard for you to see in the video, but in person, I can see it pretty good. Okay, and then just press down. Now, let me look. I'm also going to do one side of this leaf. And are there any more that I did in that other color? No. Okay. So go ahead and pick those up. And just to make sure they're lined up well, I'm going to test it on my background piece. And there we go. Can you see how perfectly lined up those are? So if I had 20 of this leaf to do, I could be sure that they're all going to come out right because I've got it all lined up. And like I said, on video, it may be hard for you to see, but that's why I did that in that dark brown, because it's much easier to line up these when you can see a nice edge. So now I'm going to go ahead and just repeat the same thing I did before. And this time I'm going to do both of these in the orange peel color. And if you wanted to ombre, this would be the point that you did it. And that's how I did my green card that we did originally. And if they pull up, it's okay, because we're going to put it right back into its little spot and do it again. All right. So there we go. We've got 2 perfectly stamped, and now we'll do the next tube the same way. Now, to do this process, I do this for every single leaf. Now, we're going to go ahead and finish up these 2 leaves. And it looks like I'm going to go ahead and do them one more time so we get a nice stamped image. Pull them out. And now we're going to put on the other half of these 2 leaves. All right, now I'm just going to, again, line that up right there on, did I get it on? Okay. Put this one back and line up this side. All right, and again, we're going to test it real quickly on our back. And this time I'm going to use the green tea because that will make, I will be able to see because I used the shea butter before. So just so it's a different color but still light. And if I've got it wrong, then I can go to a little bit darker color and I can see, oh, but that's pretty good. Now this one right over here, I can see a little bit of white along the edges. So I am going to reposition that one. This one, we're going to try it one more time. There we go. I think that will be perfect. All right, let's try that again. And instead of green tea, this time I'm going to go with eucalyptus. And hopefully we won't see any white. Ah. Perfect this time. So now we're ready to feed in our leaves. So you can see how this just helps you get it on there perfectly every time. Because if you're like me, you might be able to get it perfect once or twice. But if you're doing 20 leaves, it's highly likely that half of them will have a mistake in them where I can see lots of white. And there are tricks for going back and filling that in, either with like a Dove blender pen or a marker. But I really like that I can set it up like this and do a whole bunch of them and have perfect leaves. If I've taken the trouble to get it all set up right, then it's going to work over and over and over again. All right, where's my colors? For this little leaf, I'm going to do the other half of it in the sauna color. Whoops, it's going to pull up every time. All right. And on this one, the other half of this one, I think is going to be the polished. Perfect. I love it. All right, so we'll go ahead and pull these out and put in the next ones. There we go. So 2 leaves that are further apart on your pad, you can do at the same time in different colors, but it's a little harder to do if you get them too close together and you're trying to do different colors. You can get a little bit of the ink in the wrong place. All right, there we go. So I hope that makes sense of how I lined that up. And I did all these other leaves the same way, just in different color combinations. All right, so we will go ahead and put this aside. And I will tell you the color combinations that I used, but I won't make you have to watch me line those all up because it does take a while. But you can see how I did that here in my video. So here, through the magic of television, we have or magic of video, we have our other pieces. Now, if you're not familiar with Catherine Pooler inks, Catherine Pooler inks do something called dry back. So this is the one that we just now stamped, and you can see how it's a darker color than the one that dries back. So sometimes you may stamp one thinking it's going to be a certain color, and it's way darker. If you just give it a little while, it dries back. So that is something to be aware of when you're using Catherine Pooler inks. But these are my leaves, and I've gone ahead and I stamped my sentiment. And I just wanted to show my leaves to you next to my inspiration paper. I thought it came out really nice. I feel like it matched the colors pretty well. So we're not going to use this paper. We're actually going to use just a piece of paper that has a wood grain to it. And then for the frame, there's a big one and a small one, and I cut it out twice. And then I glued it together. And for my original, I used the larger one, and it's underneath the leaves. But this time, I'm going to use the smaller one, and we're going to put it on top of the leaves. And, whoops. We have a lot of leaves to choose from. Go ahead and get my card base. This will just be an A2 size card. I often get questions about my favorite inks, and there's so many wonderful inks on the market, and I have lots of different kinds. I'm not going to glue that down yet, but my paper is cut to 4 by 5 1/4 so that it does leave a white outline. But I don't want to glue it down yet because we're going to let some of those leaves hang off and then cut them off from the back. So let's start arranging our leaves the way we think we like them. Now, my green ones, I only have 3 that are green. So I want to be kind of systematic in where I place those so that I don't lose a lot of my green color, because most of them are these other colors. So now that I have my green one in, I feel comfortable putting down some of these others. Make sure I get a little bit of everything, and I want them kind of going in different directions. What else have I got here? Maybe this one could go more up and down. There we go. And what else do we need? Ah, another one of these. I only have one of those. Okay. Now, I do know that when I lay this down, I'm going to kind of center it right on top. And then my sentiment, I thought about offsetting it and putting it over here. But I think what I want to do is trade these two. I don't want the same leaf to be on the inside, but my plan was to kind of offset this off in one corner. And I think I can kind of do this leaf like that. Let's see, we may add another one. Let's see here. Push that one down a bit and in a little bit, and then maybe we can put another one of these. Which one do we want? So these are the ones I have left. It's either one of these big ones, and we'll probably just we'll cut most of it off and just have one little bit. So even though it's the same as this one, I think it'll be okay. All right. I think I like that when it's all cut off. I think it's going to be good. So let's go ahead. Now, some of you may do that trick where you take press and seal and you put it down and then turn it over and glue it. If I had press and seal in my craft room, I would do it that way, but I don't have any of that in my craft room right now, so we're going to do it the old-fashioned way, where we just glue them down one at a time. I have never been one to really lose sleep if I get one of them down in a little bit different place than what I had it before. It's all right with me. Now, I do want to angle these leaves so I get enough of both colors. In fact, this one over here, I might angle it a lot more because some of my other color is going to get cut off here. So I want to be mindful of that kind of thing. And right here, if I have a little gap, it's okay because that's where I'm going to have my sentiment. So just kind of thinking through how I need them all to be. So does anybody else sometimes have trouble lining up stamps like this? If you ever watch some of the like Catherine Pooler videos or some of the other brands that make a lot of this style of stamp, they will just freehand it and get like 90% of them perfectly done. I find that to be hard for me. I mean, like I said, I may have, you know, maybe 50% of them pretty close to right. But making myself that template just ensures that I get a much better stamp and I don't end up throwing a lot of them away. Like if you have one messed up, you can hide it kind of under your sentiment or put that edge so that you cut it off, and that's fine. But I don't want to go to the effort and then end up with more than half of them, that I'm not happy with. So if you're like me on that, then I hope this grid idea helps you, and testing it and lining it up, all of that, it has helped me. Do I have any more of those to move? No, this is the last one. All right, so now that we've got those all down, we'll just turn it over and trim those off. There we go. I think I have enough leaves to make another one, although I will probably go ahead and color up the green ones at least from what we die cut for today. It looks like I shifted just a little bit, missed a spot. There we go. All right. I am happy with that. Very pretty. I just love those colors. Okay, now I'm going to add my frame. And I made it in brown because I didn't really want it to compete with my pretty leaves. I wanted my leaves to be the main star of the show on this card. But I did like the pattern that it kind of added. So here we go. Here is my card base. Let's go ahead and put it down. Then we'll add our sentiment. Whoops, a little too far over there. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, now I did add just a little bit of foam on the back of this one. And it's not super thick foam. It's about yay thick. Yay thick. I don't know what that measurement is, but you'll know what I mean by yay thick, right? It's a crafting term, very fancy crafting term. I really liked, let's see, maybe I'll put it right here. I don't know. I probably should have put that down and over just a little bit. What do you think? Nope, I'm going to put it in my original spot. Don't overthink it. All right. There we go. All right. So here are my two cards that I've made with the brand new Club Circe from Catherine Pooler. Now, Club Circe, the club does get these stamps and dies and products earlier, but they usually do become available for purchase on her main website after, before the month is out usually, or early the next month. So these will eventually be available to everyone, but they may not be in the shop yet. They are the Club Circe for this month. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and switch my camera back. Thank you so much for joining me for another Monday mix-up. Like I said, I didn't mix it up very much. And I'm trying to remember what the name of the company is that the paper pad came from. And I took it into the other room, and I can't remember the name of it. It's if I can remember, when I go get the paper pad, I will put it in the description at the bottom of the video. That way, if you do like this paper, you will be able to find that. So, all right, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will be back with you again this Friday for Heartfelt Friday, and I will also be on Whimsy's YouTube channel at noon on Thursday. So, thanks again for crafting with me. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.